insignificant morons. By defeating entropy, you have placed us all in grave danger.
Crash, Coco, you must realize that this time twister machine is very delicate. Without Dr. Entropy's constant care and control, who knows what it will do?
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we fucked up big time, but oh well, let's not worry about that. You may remember back in the Crash Bandicoot 1 LP that I showed off a variation of one of Coco's idle animations where her cell phone blows up. There are non-blowing up variations on that. For example... Yeah, this episode is pretty much all going to be Coco. And we're going to start off with a level that was exclusive to Coco in the original version. Although there was since a patch that was added, because originally the Sane Trilogy also restricted characters, but now they don't. At least for the biplane levels. So there are 2 of these in the game. The option is you got to shoot down the big ships. These are blimps. You can shoot them pretty much anywhere and they'll go down. I'm pretty sure that Snoopy is trying to chase the Red Baron just off screen.
Kind of reminds me of Skygunner on the PS2.
I have not played that. So anyway, the enemies here, they have a pretty generic swooping attack, which does a ton of damage, but you can dodge out of the way with a barrel roll.
Insert Star Fox joke here.
Yeah, exactly. It is worth noting that there aren't that many changes in terms of the gameplay feel compared to how it was on PS1, with one huge change though, which was that in the original there was no targeting reticle at all.
That seems like an oversight on their part.
Yeah, that combined with the very low draw distance, which they've artificially recreated that draw distance by, the textures load, but collision doesn't.
This and the jet ski level are just interesting inclusions, to me at least, in a platforming game.
Yeah, thankfully there are only 2, technically 3 if you really want to stretch it, of these plane levels. They don't overstay their welcome like the jet ski levels do, especially there are at least 2 that I can think of, secret levels that are jet ski themed, and they're terrible.
Yay, we finished Corneria.
Yeah, the thread's been up for a while, and people are already complaining about the jet ski levels. I'm sure there will be plenty of things to say about the plane levels, too. So, next up is another one of the Ancient Egypt levels, with an incredible name.
Oh, God. Crash just taking shots at everybody now.
Very affectionate sort of way.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the Death Tornado Spin, just a shorter version of it. I'll actually be making use of the Death Tornado Spin a bit later on, because it has some use when it comes to catching air, I guess. I don't think this counts as a sewer level. It looks more like a very ineffective dam.
That's appropriate.
Yeah, so there are still only 2 sewer levels in the entire franchise, both of which were in Crash 2. Here's a new enemy that I don't know the name of, but The only way to defeat that enemy is to either jump over it or to slide. Yeah, yet another example of the game making sure you look before you leap.
They're getting kind of tricky with these bonus levels.
For example, those are nitro boxes that you got to fill in. Here's the Death Tornado Spin in action. You can use it to extend the length of your jump by quite a bit, especially if you combine it with the slide jump and the double jump.
So all of a sudden, I'm sure you can reach areas that you couldn't reach before.
Oh, yeah. In comparison to the Super Body Slam, which is really just a change in animation. There weren't any of the iron boxes in the previous levels. It's not like you had to go back and, I don't know. It doesn't seem... I mean, it still doesn't compare to the tiptoeing on nitro crates from Wrath of Cortex, but... It's a, the move that we're going to get in World 4 is one that I actually like quite a bit, but is often thrown in as one of the useless power-ups that Crash gets. But we'll see that later. And I think if you take a look around some of these hieroglyphs, they're more or less a recreation of what you got in the original. And... I think one of them, if you look at any of them where it's supposed to be Ra, the sun god, that is actually the head of Murray, who was the original team dog at Naughty Dog. Yeah, Naughty Dog have, just judging by the name, always been very pet friendly. A lot of the games, especially the Uncharted, have included pictures of team pets. People from the studio, including images of mostly their dogs.
That is kind of sweet of them.
That jump there, I was extremely close. Like, if it gets above, if the water gets above head level at all, you instantly die. No questions asked.
So this isn't like Sonic the Hedgehog's "Hey, I'm drowning" mechanic.
No, it is instant death unless you have scuba gear.
Yet another questionable design mechanic on that part, but...
And of course, we know what to do here. I don't know what happened with the water texture there. Something messed up. This is also a level that is very dependent on getting the right cycle, just because of the water. I did all the time trial. I did the time trials off screen, and getting a gold relic for this one is basically dependent on memorizing at what point you can run through without having to stop for the water.
All global cycles, I'm sure.
Yeah. It really is a shame that the Death Tornado Spin only came back in like a few of the spin-off Crash games, like the ones for like Game Boy Advance, which were essentially just 2D versions of classic Crash. Twinsanity doesn't have it. Wrath of Cortex does, but again, that's very much in its keeping of being a Crash 3 clone. Crash Bandicoot 4 actually just gets rid of the cooldown altogether on the spin. You don't really need to have the Death Tornado Spin, because you can spin not quite forever, but almost forever.
Would you call that a quality of life improvement in Crash 4, or...?
Yeah, given some of the weird hitboxes with enemies in Crash 4, yes, I would say that. Actually, no, it's more about the speed of their attacks that could sometimes be a bit off. So I mentioned before that there were not only secret levels, but also extra secret levels. And I mentioned that one of those was in Dynamite, so we're going to go back to level 11.
So, Crash Bandicoot, we meet again.
Oh, good.
Dr. Cortex wants me to teach you a lesson. Well, I made a few modifications to my mechanics since our last encounter. So back off or be deleted.
I guess it's also worth pointing out that in the backstory, Engine, the rocket that is in his head, Engine had reconfigured it to be a life support system. Also, this is how you access the secret level. It has to be that specific pterodactyl.
Oh.
So, this is the other level that Baby T is in, called Eggpis Rex. It does not have any boxes, and it basically, since you get 1 percentage point for completing the level and another for doing the time trial, you could basically do both at the same time.
Oh, that's nice of him, at least.
Yeah, this is one of the few time trials that I put on screen, just because, why not at this point? It's more efficient that way. The same applies for... same applies for at least one of the other... No, 2 of them. There's 2 others where it's better to do the time trial and the basic level completion at the same time. Again, the way this level is designed, like once you get the speed shoes later on, it's not much help. Because I do remember trying to beat this level without Baby T, and in terms of the time trial stuff, it's not really that helpful to have the speed shoes because of the way that the platforms are set up, etc.
You really need him to clear everything.
No, you don't need him, but he's faster. Because you would stop constantly otherwise with the speed shoes. Anyway,
Gotcha.
A few more death animations, primarily for the extra dinosaur stuff and the swimming levels. I don't think I mentioned this before, but it is actually canon that all of the underwater levels take place in the lost city of Atlantis, which exists in the Crash Bandicoot canon.
And it's all just so relaxing, too.
And here's one of my favorites. I love that one so much. And again, a rather tame death animation for Coco when she's in the biplane. And that's it. A pretty standard one. The next 2 videos are both going to be over 20 minutes. So this will be the last reasonably lengthy, or reasonably short. At this point, I think we've seen all of the different types of levels so far. Yeah, in terms of variety and everything, the game has shown its hand entirely. Or has it?
Or has it, Bandicoot?